Chapter 26. Joe. Mia's hogging the bed so I sleep crooked and wake up with a crick in my neck. Sunshine is leaking in under the bottom of the window shade and hitting me smack in the face. That's weird. It's usually still dark when I get up. I roll over and look at the clock. It's 10:45. Holy smokes, I shout, jumping out of bed. I throw on some clothes, shove my homework into my backpack, and run downstairs without even tying my shoes first. My parents are sitting at the kitchen table drinking coffee. What's going on? I ask my mom. Why didn't you wake me up? And aren't you supposed to be at work? Bertie from the kitchen crew offered to cover for me. And you're not going to school today, my mother says quietly. I'm not. Are you going to say hello to your old man? My dad asks. I go over and give him a hug. I haven't seen him in over a week. And since he doesn't shave when he's on the road, his beard is pretty scratchy. Is it my imagination? Or did you grow another foot while I was gone? He asks. I don't know, I say. Maybe. Does somebody want to tell me what's going on? Have a seat, Joey, my mother tells me. I'll get your breakfast. Usually on school days I eat a couple of bowls of cereal and a smoothie in the morning, but my mom has made huevos rancheros. She and my dad have already eaten, so she loads up a plate with fried eggs and corn tortillas covered in salsa and sets it on the table in front of me. Sprinkle a little of this on top, she says, setting a small glass dish of chopped up green stuff next to me. It's cilantro, filled with vitamin K. Let me know if you want hot sauce, too. Huevos rancheros is one of my favorites, but for the second time this week I've lost my appetite. Are we about to have a family meeting? I ask. My parents look at me. Your mom and I do need to talk to you, Joe, my father says. Sounds like a family meeting to me. What do we need to talk about? I ask, even though I'm pretty sure I already know. My father turns to my mother. What's the boy's name again? He asks. Dylan, she says. Dylan Samreen. Here we go. What kind of name is Samreen? My father asks. He's Indian, I say. What's his problem with you, Joe? I shrugged. Have you ever tried sitting down with Dylan and telling him how you feel? My mother asks. Come on, Gracie, my father says, shaking his head. Don't you know you can't talk to people like that? It doesn't work. What are you suggesting, Kirk? That he punched the boy in the nose? Says my mother. It would serve him right. These people come over here expecting to have it all. They ought to show some respect. What people? I asked. Immigrants, my father says. They're visitors in this country. Who do they think they are, pushing us around? Dylan's not a visitor. He was born here, I say. His dad's a doctor. You're missing the point, Joe, my father says. The point is you have to man up and fight back. Lower your voice, Kirk, my mother says. There you go again, Grace. Stop babying him, or he'll never learn to stand on his own 2 feet. I know how to stand on my own 2 feet, I say. I do it every day. You just don't know about it. You wouldn't even know who Dylan Samreen was if Mom hadn't taken the job at Einstein. We've been over this before, she says. I didn't have a choice. I needed the work. You promised me you'd stay out of my business, Mom. You crossed your heart and promised. Mia whimpers. She can't stand it when I get upset. I reach down and pat her head. Your well-being is my business too, my mother says. Great, now she's crying. How long has this Samreen boy been bothering you? My father asks. I shrug. Why didn't you say anything about it? Asks my mother. I can handle it, I say. I'm going to call and speak to your principal right now, my father says, reaching for the phone. If you're not going to stand up to that bully yourself, I'll do it for you. No, I shout, banging my fists on the table. No, no, no. You want to talk to me about my feelings? You want me to stand up for myself? Fine. Here goes. I hate that Mom works at my school now. I hate that she keeps breaking her promises and butting into my business. I hate that she has to wear that stupid apron and blow that stupid whistle in front of everybody. I hate that you're never home anymore, Dad. I hate that you think it's okay to call up my principal without even asking me how I feel about it first. I hate that you're always telling me to man up and that you don't like people who aren't like you. Indians, you mean? He asks. No, Dad. I mean me. What are you talking about? He says. You think I don't like you? Why don't you ever turn on the TV when Mom asks you to? Now, wait a second, my dad says. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm only trying to... Let him finish, Kirk, my mom says, reaching over and putting her hand on his arm. I feel kind of like I'm throwing up. I can't control what's coming out, and it's not going to stop until I'm empty. I hate that kids think I'm dumb and that teachers don't like me. I hate being afraid to raise my hand, even when I know the answer. I hate that I'm taller than everyone else in class, including my teacher, and that the only real friend I have is a dog. Most of all, I hate Dylan Samreen because he never, ever lets me forget who I am. That's how I feel. Are you happy now, I ask? Then I pick up my plate, scrape the eggs into the trash, and go upstairs to my room. Chapter 27, Ravi. Parima storms into my room, waving a piece of paper. Wake up, Ravi, and explain this to me right now, she says, pulling the sheets off my face. What is it, I ask, rubbing my eyes. What's wrong? Her hands are shaking as she pushes the wrinkled paper under my nose. I found this in your school bag. What is it, I ask, sitting up and reaching for my glasses. Look at me, Ravi, says Parima, grabbing my chin and pulling my face toward her. Tell me what's going on. What have I done? I ask, trying to see what's written on the piece of paper. Amma comes in, takes the paper, and sits beside me on the bed. It's some kind of drawing, she says, smoothing the paper on her knee. I push up my glasses, rub my nose, and look at the paper. It's a cartoon of a bunch of people wearing the same t-shirt. Did you draw this? Asks Amma. No, I tell her. I've never seen it before in my life. Parima snatches the paper from me and studies it. Who is this boy? She asks suspiciously. Is that supposed to be you? Has someone been calling you names? She points to a boy wearing shoes that look like giant potatoes. I know who it's supposed to be. This isn't me. It's the boy who sits behind me in class. He goes for special help. I call him Bigfoot, but his real name is Joe Sylvester, I say. Whoever drew this cartoon probably meant to give it to him, and accidentally put it in my bag instead. I hope this will satisfy my grandmother and put an end to the drama, but instead she starts up again. Why do you and Mr. Bigfeet sit together, she demands. Are you friends? Amma asks. We don't sit together. I sit behind him. The seating is alphabetical, I explain. Siriane comes before Sylvester. And no, Amma, we are not friends. My mother knows me too well. What's going on, Raja? She asks softly. You have to tell me. I want to tell her everything. How Dylan Samreen called me Curryhead, and how I ran away and hid in the bathroom. How I have not made a single friend at school, and have been ridiculed and laughed at every single day since day one. I want to tell her that I've been tricked into tasting beef too, but I can't. What's wrong? Amma asks, squeezing my shoulder. Ow! I cry. Amma gently pulls open the top of my pajama shirt and gasps. What happened? She asks, gently touching my bruise with her fingertips. Nothing, Amma, I lie. I just bumped myself. Parima turns on her heel and leaves the room, only to return a minute later wearing her sweater and shawl. She also has a scarf, a red dupatta, covering her head. Where are you going so early in the morning? Amma asks. Parima ignores her. Get up, Ravi, she commands. Why? I ask. I am coming to school with you. I want to see for myself what's going on at this so-called Albert Einstein Elementary School. Nothing is going on, Parima, I say, and you cannot come with me to school. When did you start answering back to your elders? She says, her eyes flashing. It's all this American influence. Are you ashamed of your Parima now? Embarrassed of her sari and bindi? I'm sure that's not how he feels, Amma says. What do you know about it, Roshni? Parima snaps. Tell her, Ravi. It's true, isn't it? You wish your silly old Parima had stayed behind in Bangalore, where she belongs, don't you? There's no place for me here in your new American life full of insulting cartoons and mysterious bruises. No, Parima, I say, I'm glad that you're here. But she ignores me and goes on. I'll tell your Paripa to bring the suitcases from the garage. We'll buy a ticket today and fly back to Bangalore. Amma sighs. Don't be silly. Meena Ma, Ravi just told you he doesn't want you to leave. Parima narrows her eyes at Amma. You've poisoned his mind, Roshni. That's what it is. We both know you don't want me here any more than he does. Stop, I shout. The reason you can't come to school with me is because I am not going to school, Parima. Are you feeling sick again, Raji? My mom asked, quickly putting her hand on my forehead to check for a fever. Let me feel your pulse, says Perima, putting her fingers on my wrist. Now all of a sudden her voice is quivering with concern. I am not sick, I say, pushing their hands away. I'm finished with Albert Einstein Elementary School forever. I quit.